What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Joe Culpepper Outdoors. I'm Joe Culpepper, and today we have a little bit of an interesting topic to talk about before we get into the main portion of this video. First things first, probably everyone that's watching this video knows who John Dudley is. Knock On Archery. He's been shooting PSE for a long time. He's one of the best shooters at these TAC events and everything. Phenomenal archer, and from all accounts I can find, he is just a genuine guy who really cares about the sport. He's passionate and he wants to keep it growing and really help people get better at archery. So, all that being said, last week John Dudley announced that he was going back to Team Hoyt from PSE. Now, if you know John Dudley's story, he started at Matthews. I believe he actually worked at Matthews, and then he decided to kind of go out on his own, do his own thing, and then he went to Hoyt, and then after a few years with them, he went to PSE, and now he's back at Hoyt, and he said it feels like he's going home. And that it caught me off guard on my timing, didn't catch me off guard that he went back to Hoyt. Me and one of my buddies, we talk about it sometimes, and it's like, and he always saying, "Man, I don't know why he left Hoyt to go to PSE. That seemed kind of stupid." But to each their own. There's some guys that really love the PSEs. Some guys really love their Hoyts. Some guys really love their Bowtechs, and so on and so forth. I actually did shoot PSE for about a month, and I can safely say that PSE is not the company for me. I didn't really G-haul with those bows very well. They didn't ever fit me. I just didn't care for them that much, and they weren't enjoyable for me to shoot. So I went back to Matthews, of course, and it feels like I'm back at home now. I'm not saying that PSE makes a bad bow. I believe they make a very good product. And Matthews, I'm not saying they make the best product. But with all that being said, I did want to talk a little bit about that and see what you guys think. Do you think that John Dudley made the right call going back to Hoyt, or did you think that he was better off at PSE? Because myself personally, I've got my stuff set up a little bit different now that I've been experimenting with some different brands, and I've shot a bunch of different bows over the summer. And Hoyt, Elite, and Matthews are the only three brands that I would really consider shooting right now. That's nothing against PSE. I've been there, done that. It didn't work for me. I haven't put prime in there because I have not been able to shoot a prime yet, and I don't know when that will happen. And there are some other brands out there. I know Bowtech, but we're not going to Bowtech. Don't worry. Anyways, I want your guys' opinion on that. Do you think that's a good move, or do you think that maybe John Dudley made the wrong call by going back to Hoyt? I think it was a good decision. I really like Hoyt. I like their products. I like where they're going. I'm not a huge fan of the Alpha X series compared to the new lifts from Matthews. I'm not a super big fan of the lift, at least not the lift 33. I like the lift 29.5 pretty good. But the Alpha X, to me, just does not have the smoothest draw cycle. It's like it's smoother in the front and then gets really tough in the back end. And I like mine to be the opposite. I'd rather it be tough in the front and just kind of dump into the back wall. But, I mean, that's my opinion. They didn't build those bows to my specs or anything like that. So I do really like the RX-8 that they have now, the RX-8. I did not shoot the RX-8 Ultra, just the RX-8, which is a 31 inch axle to axle. And that bow is incredibly smooth and it holds very well. Really like that bow. I don't like the price, which is why I don't have one. But anyways, all that being said, let me know what you think. And let me know if you might would have made the same decision. You know, if you were in the same position that Dudley is, would you go back to Hoyt? I think it's good that he went back there and he didn't just hop on to a different brand like Bowtech or Elite or Prime or anything like that. I think it kind of shows that he does have he does have allegiances and loyalties, and I can definitely appreciate that. But all that being said, the big topic of today's video is the Elite Exalt. So I was fortunate enough to go put my hands on the Exalt last week, and I wanted to share my thoughts and opinions with you guys and see what you think. So the Exalt is a 35-inch axle-to-axle bow. It is marketed as a hybrid bow, which means it's considered suitable for both target archery and hunting. So 35 ATA, long bow for me, in my opinion. This is just too long to hunt with. No question or doubt about that. I would not be taking that bow hunting on a regular basis if I did own it. I think Elite has the right idea, but like I said, the hunting aspect of it, there's very few people in the southeastern United States that are going to pick that bow to hunt with, especially I don't think there will be very many people that will pick the Exalt 35 over the even the Ethos for hunting, but especially like the Lift 29.5, the Mach 30, the Core SS, the Alpha X30, the RX8. I just really think down here those bows, I see a lot more guys that are hunting with like the 29.5 or the Core, even the Core SS. I see a lot more guys hunting with those than the 35-inch bows. It's just a little too much for most guys to be toting around in the woods. I know I hunted with a 33-inch bow last year, and I did not enjoy it at all. I was just walking through the woods so scared I was going to ding my cams on something because it was just so long compared to what I was used to, which was a 31-inch bow. Doesn't sound like a big difference, but it really was. And I decided that I did want to get a shorter bow to hunt with. So I'm back to the 31 for hunting. I do already have my, I don't know if it's going to be my primary or my backup. I don't know if I'm going to make the V3 my primary bow and this other one my backup, or if I'm going to make the V3 the backup to the other bow. Not sure yet. There'll be a video coming up on that pretty soon, though. And I know I already know that there's going to be people that are going to talk about my choice, but that's whatever. Anyways, the Exalt is a very stable bow. That's one of the first things I noticed when I got it into the back wall. It just set straight. There wasn't any wanting to go either way. It didn't feel like I was fighting the bow. It just straight. And I was very impressed with that. The draw cycle at my draw length of 29.5 inches, incredibly smooth, and it was at 90%, but it didn't hit a really tough spot that I had to roll over. It didn't just fall super hard into the back wall. It was very smooth and consistent through the whole draw cycle, and I was very impressed with it. I really liked the way it felt. After the shot, the bow's dead in the hand. I gripped it and tried to feel vibration. I could not feel anything. This bow was beyond dead in the hand. It was incredible how little vibration it had in it. And I'm very impressed with the bow. Very, very, very impressed. It's the first bow that Elite's made that's got a the Hamskea Core integrated mount option, or integrated rest option, and you can even put a QAD integrated rest on there as well. Both of those are good options depending on what you're wanting to do, but it's got the availability for both. It also has a front pick mount, which is a first for Elite. Elite has never really got on board with the integrated options other than the integrated quivers, which they never really made a super low pro quiver anyways. I think you were better off running a tight spot than an actual Elite brand quiver, but that's neither here nor there. The Picatinny mounts and the limb pockets I think are a really cool idea. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that. I already have some guesses, but of course they're not saying what they're doing with it exactly at this moment. I think in November, when everyone drops their new bows, that's when we're going to find out a lot of this stuff. And just based on that bow, I'm really excited to see what Elite's going to do this year and next year. I think Elite, in a lot of ways, is headed the right direction as far as jumping to the next spot up in the archery brands, if you want to look at it like that. So I think it goes Matthews is number 1, Hoyt's number 2. Those are non-negotiable. Those are going to be your 1 and 2. 3, I'd say, is Bowtech. 4 is Elite, and then 5 would be PSE. I think if Elite keeps doing what they're doing, they're definitely going to bump Bowtech out of the number 3 spot and take it for themselves, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm not a super big fan of Bowtech myself at this point in time, and I don't think there are very many people that look at Bowtech very favorably at the moment. Could be wrong, but I don't really think that there's too many people that are really big back in Bowtech at the moment. So I think the Exalt is a step in the right direction. I don't think it's going to fix. I don't think the Exalt or any of the bows that they put out this year are going to take them to the next level. I've talked to several different people, and from what I can gather, Elite is not making a bow shorter than 33 inches this year. And I think that's a big mistake on their part because, like I said earlier, in this area of the United States, we shoot short bows because we hunt really thick areas. And when you hunt these really thick areas, the longer your bow is, the more stuff you're going to get caught in, the more chance you have of cutting your string on some briars or thorns or anything like that before you can get to your stand, because it's just too much for you to watch all the time. And yeah, I know 29 inches to 35, that's only 6 inches of difference in the actual axle lengths. But a 29 is a lot easier to get around than a 35. Especially if you're taking the 35 and you're going to put some longer bars on it. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the guys that are going to hunt with it in the Southeast this year. That's 100% up to you. And if you do hunt with it, I hope you have great success, and I hope it really works well for you. I know I really like the bow. I just think Elite is headed the right direction with their technologies, but they're headed the wrong direction when it comes to just making their bows. There's a lot of guys I know around here that they're never going to consider Elite until they make a 29, 30-inch bow. And if Elite doesn't want to grab that market, that, of course, is up to them, but it's really going to limit how far they can go, because they'll never have the biggest presence in this area if they're not making these 29, 30-inch bows, because that's what we want. That's what we shoot. So, with all that being said, nobody from Elite's going to watch this video, of course, but if someone just happens to, please make a 29 or 30-inch hunting bow. I really want one because I really want to give Elite a shot again. But I'm not hunting with a 33, and I'm not hunting with a carbon bow that's going to cost $1,800, because that's the only bow in your lineup that is 31-inch axle to axle. That seems kind of like just a money grab to me. I don't think that was why they made that bow 31 inches, but I'm not going to shoot a carbon bow at the moment because I don't see the point. Just my opinion. I don't see the point of carbon bow. Doesn't get cold enough down here to be worried about the warm to touch thing. And as far as dead in the hand, a couple of good stabilizers will knock all that out anyways. So not too terribly worried about that. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. Do you think Elite could take over Bowtech? Let me know. I have my opinions. I know everybody's probably got everybody does have their own opinions. But I think Elite is definitely headed in the right direction. Like I said, with their technologies, they just need to figure out where their market is, which is going to be the Eastern United States, because we're the closest to where they are. It's not the West. I know there are people out West that are shooting Elite bows, but it's not. It doesn't have the presence there that I think it has over here. So, all that being said, what do you think about the Exalt if you shot it? Where do you think Elite's going? Do you like the Elite bows? Do you not like the Elite bows? And what do you think about John Dudley going back to Hoyt? Just let me know in the comments. Keep the comments positive. Keep them, don't be pointing fingers at people. Don't be talking negative, because it's just a headache to everybody that has to read that kind of stuff. So, anyways, all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. Stay in the outdoors. God bless you. And I'll catch you on the next one.